All right, so now we're going to be talking about the initial investment and budgeting for that. Up to this point, we really haven't talked about numbers at all, so let's get into the cold hard numbers. We had budgeted for a $6,500 total investment to get started, and looking back, I can tell you that I probably would have changed that budget to about 7,000, and we'll get into the reason for that in just a second. Do you need to spend that much for the initial investment? Well, no, certainly not. Not if it depends really on the resources that you have available already, your creativity, your business strategy. There's a lot of different factors that go into how much money you're going to end up needing or wanting to spend at the outset. So, kind of like the risk of losing your investment section, it is pretty personal to you and unique to your own situation. But what I can do is share with you some of the things that factored into our numbers and how we got there. So let's start with really the biggest chunk of money, and that is your initial inventory. The initial inventory is what you're ordering when you get the call from LuLaRoe, when they get to you from the queue, which you already signed up for, right? Um, when they call you for the onboarding call, they're really just calling for your credit card or your bank account number. It's a pretty quick call. It's straightforward. How are you going to pay for it, and which package do you want? They've got a handful of different packages for the initial inventory. We went with the very basic package, and we ended up spending $5,200. So there's a number of different options for whatever you want your initial inventory to be, how extensive it is that you want. Because remember, you're buying a retail store. Um, so we went with the base package, costed us $5,200. I don't think that you're going to get off of that call for much, if at all, lower than $5,200. But if you choose some of the options that are available to you, then you could be spending significantly more than that. So if you have questions about what your initial inventory might look like, we can certainly talk to you, but my guess is that your wife, spouse, girlfriend, significant other already has a pretty good idea even now about what they'd like to see their initial inventory be, or what they'd like that initial inventory order to be. So start having that conversation first. One thing to consider though is when you're making that initial order, if you go with the base package like what we did, it does not include leggings. So think about it. How did your girlfriend or your wife first discover LuLaRoe? I'm guessing it was through the leggings. The majority of people that we've come to know, discovered LuLaRoe through their leggings. It's got to be one of, if not their most popular items. So I will tell you that this is one thing that does rub me the wrong way about LuLaRoe. And probably the one and only thing that still does stand out to me is something that I just don't understand, that could certainly change in my mind, is I do believe that they should have a base level package that does offer leggings as a part of that package. So, so for your initial inventory, you've got a couple of things to think about. What package do you want to start with, and how do you want to handle the leggings situation? I will tell you that having spoken with a number of other LuLaRoe consultants and LuLaBros, and talking to a bunch of people at the LuLaRoe convention, and having circled back with Sarah after she's had conversations with people who are interested in an in-home pop-up, it became real obvious to me real quick, really early on, that having the leggings was a pretty essential part of the deal. We just needed to have them in order to satisfy the clientele, and to give them some of the product that they were looking for, at least to offer it, right? So you've got some options as to how you want to, or how you may want to get leggings into your inventory. The first one is they do have a leggings package during the onboarding call that they have, that you can certainly take up on. That leggings package is about $1,500, or at least it was when we called, or rather when they called us. And for that $1,500, you get a whole bunch of leggings, but you also do get the kid-sized leggings, the teen-sized leggings, And to be honest with you, that wasn't a market segment that we wanted to be in. And I know that a lot of new consultants coming on board aren't really interested in trying to target those markets right off the bat. Um, the upside of getting that package, though, is that you do get a handful of free tees. I don't remember if they're Patrick tees or if they're Perfect tees or Randy's or I don't remember what they are, but I know you do get a pretty good size handful of free tees. But with that, you get a whole bunch of leggings that you may not want. So that brings you to option number two. Option number two is you hang up from your onboarding call and then you go straight from there to logging into Audrey. Audrey is the online ordering system that all onboarded consultants have access to. And that is the portal where, among other things, consultants place their orders for ongoing inventory. So once you're onboarded, you have access to the system. You can place orders for whatever you'd like. There are minimum order amounts. So if you do want to place an order for leggings through that system, I think the minimum order is about $650 or so. But in doing that, you get to order specifically the sizes that you want. So if you just want tall and curvy and one size leggings, then that's what you get, and it's going to cost you about $600 and some odd to do that. And to be honest with you, when I said earlier that I would suggest making our budget around $7,000 rather than 65, this is why. If we had to do it over again, I certainly would have tried to move forward with just getting the leggings within days of getting our initial inventory so that we had it all together. So option number three, and this is the last one, and frankly it's not really available to everybody right off the bat. This goes to the next point regarding your consultant, but just networking with other consultants in the area and with your upline and with your sponsor. If you have good consultants around you, you have a good upline and a good support network, you may be able to find other consultants who are willing to sell you some of their leggings at wholesale costs. So you may not have 100 different pairs of leggings, but at least you have some leggings in your inventory that you were able to get at a pretty reasonable cost, just as far as it's wholesale cost, but you aren't getting a whole lot of them. So that's your other option, really, is to try and network and find other consultants who are sympathetic to your situation and can help you out. So with that, really, the other piece of the investment is going to be all the other stuff. The racks that you see hang here behind me, the hangers, the size dividers up here, the cases or the crates or the bags, photography equipment, all that other kind of stuff. We budgeted $1,500 for that. We spent every bit of that $1,500. Do you need to spend that $1,500? Possibly not. Depends on what you've already got and how you want to go about tackling some of the challenges that you're going to have in running your business. But there are some things that I would have liked to have spent more money on. I would have liked to get a better tripod. I would have liked to have gotten a laser printer to print the shipping labels, for instance. Just would have been good moves. On the other hand, there's a lot of things that we could have saved money on. We really didn't need to buy a camera. We could have done all the photography work that we need to do with any one of our cell phones. We didn't need to buy crates. We could have just gone to IKEA and got $3 bags to haul everything around with. So, there's a lot of opportunities to save money. There's always stuff that you can spend more money on, and where you fall in that mix is going to come right back to what I said at the beginning. It's going to depend on what resources do you have, how creative do you want to be with the resources that you've got, and what's your business strategy for bringing your product to the market. So that's really how we came to our 6,500 and why I would have looked at 7,000, and beyond that, how you could potentially be spending a heck of a lot more than that if you really wanted to. But with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the last section, and that's just going to be picking your sponsor. Thanks a lot.